Championship weekend in Phoenix, and boy, is it going to be fun with Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, who just won last weekend, and of course, the big hat, William Byron. Who is going to take it home? Who is going to be the champion in 2023? Why don't we start with the guy who most recently won, KP? Because you had an interesting name for him earlier this year. Other than Ryan Blaney, you kind of compared him with another driver just about an era ago. Was that Casey Kane?
Casey Kane. Yes, and I still compare him to Casey Kane. I'm not going to back off of that just yet, just because since I compared him, he's won 2 races. I look at it like this. And since 2018, Ryan has won 8 races for Penske Motorsports. I would have thought he would have won more than that. Now, in that same period of time, Joey Logano has only won 14 races. So when you compare Joey Logano, his teammate, to him, you look at it and you say, okay, that's pretty comparable. But Joey Logano has won 2 championships in that same amount of time. And that's why I compare him to Casey Kane. He doesn't show up every week like Joey Logano does. Sometimes he's just absent from the race. We just don't talk about him that much. Or sometimes he leads a lot of it and then disappears at the end. So for me, he's still in that category. He has got to put together a body of work over the next 2 or 3 years and a body of consistent work. Winning races is one thing. And I never said he couldn't win races. Casey Kane won races. I never said he couldn't win races. It's just that consistency that I've been looking for from Ryan Blaney.
All right. Well, and of course, he's got last week to put on that resume as well, but that's not a championship. We'll see if that happens this weekend. DJ, championship pressure is my category for you. Does it benefit those who have done it before? Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell was there last year. Or does a level of inexperience actually help deflect some of that pressure?
Yeah, I think you have to make the case that there's nothing ever bad about experience. Whether it was something that negative happened, you learned from that, or what you learned in just navigating through the entire week leading up to this championship event. I think there's a lot to be gained from that. So the drivers that have been there, experienced that, gone through the race, yeah, I think that gives them a little bit of an edge on the mental side of it. But these 4 drivers have worked extremely hard. With today's playoffs, I mean, they're in a championship situation for 3 races with every round that they go through. So this has prepared them for what they have here. Yeah, this is the biggest moment that they're going to have, but I think that these drivers have been through enough that I'm going to put experience to the side and just say it's more to me about who's competing best at this point in time and who gets the job done and makes no mistakes on Sunday.
Kyle, how do you feel about that? The pressure on some of the ones who haven't done it versus maybe Larson who has?
You know what? I think I'm kind of like Dale. I think you have to put that to the side a little bit. And from the standpoint that these guys perform under pressure week in and week out. It's not like it was when Dale raced, when I raced, when it was the totality of the season and your collective work during the whole season. These guys work for those first 20 races or first 26 races, and then it becomes a sudden death almost every week. Almost every week is a sudden death. So I think the pressure's there. Don't get me wrong, but they've dealt with the pressure for the last 10 weeks. So it's not going to be any greater this week, I don't believe, than it's been in the past.
KP, they're all young. What is the significance of that? The youngest average age of a championship for ever in NASCAR. What significance is that? And do you think that's what we're going to see in the future?
Just means old guys don't race anymore, man. That's all it means to me. I think we saw this. This has been coming for me. This has been coming since Jeff Gordon came into the sport in the early 90s. If you look at Earnhardt, if you look at Dale Jarrett, if you look at a lot of guys that came into the sport, you didn't get that shot until your mid to late 20s. You didn't get a shot at a cup ride. These guys are getting a shot at cup rides at 18 and 19 years old. So it skews to the guys like Mark Martin and guys like that ran until they were 48, 50, 51, 52, like Bobby Allison and guys like that. It skews down about a 10-year stretch there. So now you've got guys like Kevin Harvick who are retiring earlier. You've got guys that are stepping out of the sport at 42, 43. So you're going to be in your prime in your late 20s and into your early 30s. So we're going to see that because that's where the best drivers are. They begin to trail off a little bit after that. So it's an anomaly to see a 36 or a 38-year-old now in the championship, where in the past that was the norm.
DJ, it's interesting. I'm looking at the Vegas odds, and I know you read them much more in depth than I do. Maybe the age thing is playing a little bit into what's happening there. What are they for the championship for, and do you agree with them?
I'm going to say that this is one time that those people in Vegas get this right more than they don't. But as I look with Larson being the favorite, yeah, I understand. He's won the championship. He's had a good season, an outstanding season. But he's at plus 180, so you're not even getting 2-1 on your money there. But then you go to Blaney, who really was the hottest driver in the round of 8. He's plus 260, Byron around 275. And they're just disrespecting Christopher Bell in my mind totally by putting him at a basically 4-1 that you can get on your money. And I think that you could make a case, not that each one of these drivers could be the favorite, but I thought these odds would be much, much closer than what they are there. So I think there's some, if you're out there looking to make a wager on the race on Sunday, there's certainly some money that could be had. And that's what Vegas tries to entice you to do, is not to take that, the very best bet that might be on there.
We'll see if they listen to you and fluctuate a little before Sunday afternoon. With that in mind, I'm not going to ask you where you're going to put your money. That's your prerogative. But who do you pick as a winner? Who do you see on Sunday being the driver that finishes ahead of the other 3, whether that's a win or not, DJ?
I'm going with something, and we talk about momentum, or that word comes up a lot. I don't really care about the word momentum, but I think confidence comes in, and confidence right now, to me, is with Ryan Blaney. I look at confidence and the fact that he has performed well at Phoenix in this car every time, and I think that's a lot to be said for that. That even though he doesn't have that win at Phoenix yet, I think he's saving that for his biggest moment. But I believe Ryan Blaney is the driver to beat, in my opinion.
KP?
Yeah, listen, it's tough to argue that. It's tough to argue. It's tough to argue. It's like Dale talks about the odds here. It's straight across the board. It's tough to argue for or against any of these guys, really, or against any of these guys. You can argue for them in every way. When we rolled out of Daytona, I think I picked William Byron, and I'm going to stick with Lord Byron. I think Lord Byron there have been races, Martinsville being one of them, that they just struggle. But somehow by the end of the race, they make something happen for themselves. And we saw it at Phoenix the first race. I think Larson had the better car, and the 24 of Byron wins in the end. And they have been able to do that multiple times this year, not really even be in the race and a couple of different scenarios, but make something out of it. So I think he goes to Phoenix and makes a championship out of this run.
So our producer slipped in a quick shot of Christopher Bell there. That's actually where I was going to go, not just to mess up everybody in Vegas, DJ, but because I think his crew chief, Adam Stevens, his 7th time that he has had a chance at the championship for, won twice with Kyle Busch. And then you go for that feel good. Hey, can the crew finally put it together all day long? Will Christopher have that resolve that he's had before? I think it's going to happen, and we will all wait and see, because Sunday afternoon on NBC, it's going to happen. And on Peacock, we're going to be there. Guys, thanks. And good luck to everybody. Thanks for watching NASCAR America Motormouths, presented by Toyota.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.